Hi you guys, welcome back. My name is Carrie Penny. I am the Happy Crafty Homemaker, and this is our final installment of how I put together my Addy knit blanket here. So first off, we started with the single crochet bind off. Then our next step was doing the braided slip stitch closure. Now how to set up the border here. So it's actually going to be easier to visualize from here. So what you're going to do, take the same weight yarn, a corresponding hook to the size of yarn that you're using here. Your tubes might feel a little floppy compared to what you're doing. Like, I think this is looser than, say, using a 9. Well, this one is. Than using a 9 would be, a size 9 needle. Whereas this is probably about the same as a size 9. Once again, I just favor a clover, a more size I. That's a me thing, I guess. So we're just going to jump right in here at the join. You want to match up your stitches. You want to go under both single crochets, one from each side. This is going to close up our tube. Oops. And of course my tail just like slid straight off my lap. So you're going to join your yarn in. And you're going to do a single crochet. And you're going to come across to our corner here, doing single crochets through both sides of your work, closing up your tube, and giving you a nice platform to build any other border. Now in my Brights blanket, I kept it very simple. I just did my single crochet closure. I did another row of single crochet in my closure color here, and then a single row of single crochets all the way up from here. But once we have this first layer of single crochets that close up our tubes, make sure everything is closed at the corners there. You can see this is where I did not remember to sew them shut with my tail. As I keep telling you guys, not everything is always perfect. But as soon as you're done with this foundation single crochet round, the sky's the limit. You can do whatever borders you want to do, whatever finish you want your blanket to have. This will also continue to shore up, anything that may look a little wonky, where you've got, in my case, I'm using different weight yarns. Well, they're not different weights, but they're different thicknesses of the same weight yarn. So here we are at the corner. And what I did for mine that I thought worked really, really well was going into our stitch here, stitches, doing a single crochet. Then I did a chain 2. And then another single crochet to create the corner. And it's because we have a rounded edge here. So I found that actually created the best corner to start this off. Now I continued the same corner in my finished blanket. Actually, I did a single, and then I actually did 2 to continue to round out that corner. But I used the same formula in my finished blanket all the way around and maintain that single crochet. So what we're going to do, I'm not sure why that is kind of jinky there, but we're going to even this out here. Oh, it's just the side of the single crochet got pulled out. Okay. Coming down our knit sides, we've got 1, you're just going around knit stitches, 2, 3, and to not create a flare, skip 1. So single and 1, 2, 3, skip a stitch, 1, and I'm going through the entire stitch, 2 bars of the stitch there, 3, skip 1, 1, 2, 3, skip a stitch, 1, 2, 3, skip a stitch, 1, 2, 3, skip a stitch, 1, 2, this is the side of the single crochet there, not the knit stitch, so this is a little bit harder to get into. All right, so now we're back up to the top here. So this is actually where I'm going to make my corner. Single crochet, chain 2, single crochet into the same stitch. That creates our corner with a nice little hole there. Now we're back to closing up our tube. So we're going to do 1 single all the way across both stitches, just zippering back through everything. All right, so here we are in that last stitch. Okay, so that's the end of yellow here. In order to jump across to the green, we're just going to jump across to the green. Because we've done that tack to close up the ends and we zippered this shut with our slip stitch, or where we drew through the tail, we don't need to add any stitch here. We just need to skip the join stitches and keep making our way back across, closing everything up until we get to the corner. Zippering, zippering, do-da-day, closing up my blocks. And once again, this is what real life with me is like. Welcome to the edge of the brain of Carrie Penny. All right, we're down to our last 2 here. So there's 1. Now we're into the corner stitches. That's not right. No. All right, last stitch here. This is the last green stitch. So we're going to single, chain 2, single, And same thing we did down the other side. 1, 2, 3, skip a stitch. It is really hard to do this through the camera. 1, 2, 3, skip a stitch. 1, 2, 3, skip a stitch. We're just singling our way down. Skip a stitch. Uno, dos, tres, skip a stitch. Un, deux, trois, skip a stitch. And then the way that worked out, I guess I'm missing a stitch somewhere up here. Am I worried about it? Nah. We have 2. So I'm going to turn the corner. Single, chain 2, single. All right, so that's gotten us from here, down, here, up to here. So we're just gonna close off the green and reattach at the beginning of our round 1 border here. So let me pause this real quick and I will single crochet my way across. Okie dokie. So we are, I guess to you that kind of looks like a jump cut, but we are back to the beginning of our round here. So we're going to slip stitch. Now for mine, like I said, I did 2 rounds of my original color. So I would just continue around at this point. For what I did, I thought it was easier to do 2 singles, only have 2 singles in those corner stitches, but moving out, starting with row 2, I did 2 singles, chain 2, 2 singles in those corner stitches. You could also do 2 singles, chain 1, 2 singles if it feels a little too open to you. This is where we get into you are the designer of your own blanket. So now we're to the corner. So you can take a second to see, you know, what you think looks best. Chain 2, 2 singles. Let's get a couple stitches down the side here. You know, you can take this and look at it and go, oh, well, that looks kind of knobbly, or that's going to be too sharp, or I want something more rounded. You can make that decision for yourself as you're designing your own border here. But that is how I put together my blankets. And I wanted this ridge going around the blanket. So this is, you know, kind of a decorative choice. You can see where we got this minor ridge here from the single crochet. That's one of the reasons why I did this. The other reason why I did a single crochet closure and then did my closure like this is because it was easy than just single crocheting around. I knew I wanted to do a single crochet border on this blanket, so that's why I did this way. This is by far not the only way to join addy tubes together to make a blanket. You can whip stitch them. You can, I would still use this zippering slip stitch method to put your tubes together. But like I said in video 1, you could hand knit these tubes, use a standard cast off, and still be able to single crochet a border on. I do really like this join because I think that gives you a nice secure join. It also helps your pieces to kind of shape into each other as you add on to them. If I had had another, say, this thickness yarn on the other side of the green, it wouldn't feel like we had two thicknesses of number 4 yarns. This just happens to be particularly heavy, this one particularly thin. But like this one was very thick, this one was thin, this one was a medium 4. So even in my own blanket, I've got the same thing going on where I just mixed and matched yarns that were the same weight but kind of feel a little bit different. But this is not the only way to do this. And as you continue to work your single crochets, you'll be able to, or continue to work your border out, you will be able to, you know, true up your edge, how you want it to look, and get the shape, final shaping that you want your blanket to have. But as always, if you have any questions, leave them in the comment section down below and I'll get back to you as quickly as I possibly can. I don't know how long each section of this will be in between releases. I am filming this all on the same day at the same time, but just to make this easier to consume in sections and easier for you guys to find each section, I will probably release this in 3 separate videos instead of 1 video altogether. Anyway, you're just going to continue around doing your border, and once you have this foundation, you know, you might want to double check to make sure you have an equal number of stitches on each side, that you didn't miss anything. You know, you might want to lay it out and kind of really make sure things are where you want them to be, things are laying out the way you want them to lay out. Some yarns you might need 4 singles, skip 1, depending on your tension. So you might have to adjust your tension for doing the border. A lot of these are by feel. It's very hard to say this is the way, period. As I say with a lot of things, you kind of have to do what works for you. You know, like this is how you do this part, but this part you kind of have to feel your way through. As with most borders on crochet blankets, you know, or most crochet borders in general, you kind of have to see how things are laying. Not everybody's tension is the same. Not every yarn kind of lays the same or works the same. So, you know, there are certain times where you have to kind of take control of the design yourself and be your own designer. And this is kind of in that state of be your own designer now. So I hope you guys have a wonderful, fantastic day. As always, I love you and I look forward to seeing you guys real soon. Bye, guys.